Hello, it is Tuesday, December 7th, 2021, and it is definitely December and not September. I fear I may have misstated the month because in the comments section, Kurapika92 dropped in to say, it is definitely not September, Chris, it's December. So, yikes. I think I misstated the year a week or two ago, so I'm improving. Maybe next I'll only misstate the day or date, and then eventually I won't make any mistakes in this incredibly obvious read of a line of text that is staring me in the face. Anyway, I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to my New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Tuesday puzzle today, definitely a Tuesday puzzle. I can see that it says Tuesday on the screen, so probably not too difficult, maybe a tad more challenging than yesterday's Monday. We'll just have to see. Before we do see, let's quickly mention the new Twitter account at The Daily Solve and the patreon.com/dailysolve, where you can get a wealth of bonus video solves, as well as some other benefits, like additional access to the Discord chat server. The rest of which, beyond that exclusive channel for Patreon subscribers, the rest of the Discord chat server is free to everybody to join, and you can do that with a link in the description field underneath these videos to chat about crosswords and puzzles with members of this community. All right, there are several comments to read from yesterday's puzzle, so I'm going to move on to that. Chris Livornia, so there was the word what I said peridot, I think, P-E-R-I-D-O-T, or peridote, and I think it's peridot, according to Chris Livornia, who says where dot rhymes with hot. Although Duke Garland says both the pronunciation with and without the T are acceptable. Basically, the French word is not supposed to have the T pronounced, and certain people, like jewelers, don't pronounce it, but so many people do pronounce it with the T that dictionaries consider both a valid pronunciation, which is exactly how language works. So thank you for that fuller context. And boy, I really shouldn't have tried to know anything about sports because, predictably, it turned out to be wrong. I said TKO stands for total knockout, but Daniel Gettler said, sadly, TKO does not typically stand for total knockout, but rather technical knockout, wherein the referee stops the fight out of concern for one fighter's ability to continue safely, but nobody has been literally knocked unconscious. So there we go. Shouldn't have tried. I took a swing and I missed. It was a TKO on me. All right. And there was a clue that referenced tapping a maple tree, and I mentioned you could do that to get maple syrup, but there are probably more steps, and Kathleen Quinn confirms indeed there are additional steps after a maple tree is tapped for its sap before you get to the pure maple syrup. And she has quite a long and in-depth explanation of this, which I did read, but I'm not going to read here because it's quite elaborate. But if you would like to learn more about how maple syrup is derived from the sap of the maple tree, go back to yesterday's puzzle, the Monday, December 6th, 2021 puzzle, and read Kathleen Quinn's comment about it. It's very informative. She says she's partial to Vermont pure maple syrup herself. Okay. Kathy Swope confirms that, indeed, You've Got Mail, as I remembered, is based on the 1940s comedy The Shop Around the Corner, starring James Stewart and Margaret Sullivan. And then Caleb Alberton adds some additional context. The Shop Around the Corner is itself an adaptation of the Hungarian play Parfumerie, which was closely adapted into one of my favorite Broadway musicals, She Loves Me, by Fiddler on the Roof pair Harnick and Bach. That's great. And Fiddler on the Roof is fantastic, so probably worth checking out She Loves Me. Kelly Mills points out that MSU is Michigan State University in East Lansing, Michigan, usually good in basketball. And Paige says, MSU is the school I go to. Got that one right away. So there we go. All right, that was a marathon of informative comments. And now let's move on to today's puzzle. This is a Tuesday crossword constructed by Margaret Cycle, who is a veteran crossword constructor, and edited, as always, by Will Shorts. Let's get started. Okay. Truck weigh station unit. I would assume, especially in the U.S., this to be tons. Of course, as we discussed in a recent crossword, there is more than one ton. There's TON and TONNE. But anyway, this is the U.S. ton, I assume. Self-congratulatory cry. It could be ta-da. You could say that when you complete a crossword, for instance. Have a bun in the oven, which I guess is a euphemism for pregnancy. And Boston's Mass Ave, Massachusetts Avenue, and we see that Mass is abbreviated here, so will be the answer. And I have pointed out actually before that U.S. states are often abbreviated in crossword clues without indicating that the answer itself is abbreviated. But in this case, it's not really a state. That's, even though Massachusetts is the state in which Boston is located, this Massachusetts is the name of something in Boston. It's not actually referring to the state itself. So it being abbreviated still means the answer will be abbreviated. And in this case, Massachusetts Avenue. Okay. 'Tis the season abbreviation. December, I suppose. The festive season, the holiday season, Christmas season. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink of water. I'll probably edit this out. Okay, sorry about that. Here we go. Aid for sleeping on a plane. Could be a neck pillow. One of those, I guess, horseshoe-shaped pillows you can put around your neck. And here we have a place to attach a surfboard leash. That would be to your ankle. And sass. If you give somebody sass, you're sassy towards them, you give them lip. And a card in Uno or action on Spotify. It must be skip. In Uno to skip, I suppose, the next player's turn, the card game Uno, and in Spotify to skip the current track. Absorbs, as with bread, is sops. One of my favorite things to do in a meal is to sop up sauce or gravy with good crusty bread. Popeye's olive oil, Popeye's girlfriend, I suppose, olive oil spelled O-Y-L. And the capital of Japan for more than 1,000 years is the city of Kyoto. Reactions to prior to Tokyo, which I think was previously Edo before it was Tokyo. All right. Reactions to stepping on Legos, say, could be ows. Ouch. I actually remember that. I remember how painful it was to step on Legos when they were all over the place. Okay. Close follower of the horse race. So horse race is in quotation marks, which means we're not using it literally. We're not literally referring to a race between horses, but in this case, I think we're referring to the political horse race, which is a metaphor often deployed when talking about poll results and things like that. So probably a political junkie, maybe? There we go. Maybe that's it. Political is I'm pretty confident about. Junkie maybe could be something else, so let's check the crosses on junkie specifically. Spanish boss with L. Oh, jefe? I think. What about this? Peach or periwinkle? I suppose each of those could be a hue, a color. Does that work here? Oh, okay, yes, I see. And then, challenge for a future attorney. This is the second or third time this has come up in the last few weeks. The LSAT. I suppose it's something like legal standardized achievement test or something like that. It's taken to as a prerequisite, I think, to apply to law school. Anyway, iconic encouragement from Tim Gunn on Project Runway. If you've never seen Project Runway, you'll be shocked to learn one of many television programs I have not seen that are referenced in the New York Times crossword. The Little Mermaid. Well, Disney's Little Mermaid was Ariel. I don't know, actually, if that's the name of the character in the original Hans Christian Andersen story. Maybe. All right. So, and then here, probably it is. Well, maybe, I don't know. But that was not in quotation marks, whereas this one is. Although, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a difference because this is referring to the character, the Little Mermaid herself, whereas this clue, sinister fish in, quote, The Little Mermaid, is referring to a fish in the work, The Little Mermaid. But I don't remember. Is her name spelled A-R-A-I-L? Could that be a gar fish? Oh, no. Probably an eel. An eel. Yeah, that sounds familiar now that I think about it. And then to vend something is to sell it, as in a vending machine, a selling machine. And if one listens to something, one hears it. Iconic encouragement from Tim Gunn. So it could be take something. Here we have UFC sport. Never seen a UFC match, but I believe this to be mixed martial arts. So M. Make, I don't know. What's stronger than might? Will, I suppose. I will solve this crossword is stronger than I might solve this crossword. I'm pretty confident I will solve this crossword, one way or another. To get hitched is to wed, to marry. And here we have a late night coffee order. Well, that could be a decaf, which is another one that came up in the crossword just within the past several days. Decaffeinated coffee, late night coffee order. And smart Alec, I suppose, is something you call someone, I guess, slightly sarcastically. A pasta popular on The Sopranos. What pasta would fit? Ziti, maybe? I have no idea if that's popular on The Sopranos, but it would fit. And actually, this looks like pizza. Oh, I bet the clue is going to be PJ something, because this says place to pick up a pepperoni pie, perhaps. There's some nice alliteration. Place to pick up a pepperoni pie, perhaps. A pizza joint. And then that sort of echoes political junkie with the PJ. So let's look at this. This is an interesting ending. Easy. Singer, actress, Jennifer. I don't know. Sorry. What about this with the J? Birthplace of Rastafarianism would be Jamaica, so that fits. Here we have actress Glazer of Broad City. Is it Alana? Filter that gives photos a vintage look. Sepia tone, that sort of kind of warm orange brownish tone you get in old photographs or modern filters. Half blank wrestling hold, half Nelson, I've heard of that. And a big blank, a cheapo's opposite would be a big spender. Here we have Fall Guys, and there's a question mark, the pun indicator, meaning we shouldn't read this with the surface reading. And the surface reading of Fall Guys would be a patsy, somebody who's set up to take the blame for a crime or something like that. But in this case, we're going to read it more literally as men who fall, guys who fall, stunt men. Contents of an hourglass is sand, and a go-getter is a doer. Charlie's Angels, e.g., they were a trio, right? There were 3 of Charlie's Angels, the action squad, whatever you'd call them. Pleasant French city. So here we have sort of a double definition. This could be a cryptic clue. There's a type of clue in cryptic crosswords called a double definition, and that means that you get 2 definitions in sequence. So in this case, one of the definitions could be pleasant, and one could be French city, and each of those means nice, or in this case Nice, the city in France. Like Death Valley. Death Valley is an arid desert, so arid. And here we have one remedy for a hangover, supposedly. Well, this looks like another theme clue, and I think these are all going to be PJs. So pickle juice looks like it would fit that PJ pretty tidily. And I have heard of that, although I've never attempted it myself to drink pickle juice to cure a hangover, or for any other reason, really. Oh, Jennifer Lopez. Good Lord. Okay, sorry. I am familiar with Jennifer Lopez. I'm not that out of the loop. I just didn't. I don't know. The easy didn't trigger it for me, unfortunately. Enter one's password is log in. Gross is ick. Big initials in protein powder. I think GNC is one of those sort of health supplement chains. Yes, madame. Oh, it could be oui, yes in French. And then here, birth announcement units are ounces. I wonder why. I wonder what led to the convention of people announcing the weight of their baby. What an odd thing. I wonder why. I never really thought about this before. I wonder why we do that. I don't tell anyone my weight. I don't think most people tell anyone else's weight. Why do we do it for babies? I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason. There's probably some sort of tradition or some reason that tradition was established. I don't know. Maybe it dates back to childhood survival rates being sadly lower in the past, and so it was sort of seen as good to have a baby of a certain weight, and so that was something that, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, sorry. Iconic encouragement from Tim Gum. Could it be make it work, maybe? I mean, I don't know, but feels like it could fit. Yeah, actually. And then 67 across is Kit Kat Bar. Oedipus blank is Oedipus Rex, the Greek dramatic work. And here we have in the on-deck circle, say. Next, I guess. If you're on deck, you're next. So that's getting at? Let's look elsewhere. Starting place for an inventor. An idea, I guess, is where an inventor starts. And Keats's To Autumn, e.g., well, that is an ode, the preferred poetic form of the New York Times crossword puzzle. All right, astronomer Hubble of the Hubble telescope, I think Edwin Hubble. And that does mean in the on-deck circle is next. So I suppose the circle, you stand in it to mean you're next. This might be referring to a sport, I'm not sure. But next does make sense for something or someone being on deck. All right, so here we have, I assume, another theme clue and answer, maybe. Aircraft that's 1% full. Aircraft that's 1% full is a private jet. It's full of the 1%. Only the 1% are going to be flying around in private jets. And that creates another PJ answer for us. So now we have, what looks like 4? Pickle juice, pizza joint, political junkie, and private jet. And I bet that will be all, well, we could have one more, or 57 across could be a revealer. I don't know which. Let's wait and find out. 8 or 9, but not 10. I don't know. I'm not seeing it immediately. Were it possible that could be even if? Were it possible that we solve this crossword even if we solve this crossword? I mean, that fits. Let's check the crosses on if, though, to see. Snapple cap fodder. Oh, I remember this. Snapple used to, maybe probably still does, have facts printed on the underside of its bottle caps. Jokes around is jests, I suppose. And to stick out. And here we have this out in as a parenthetical addendum here to stick. So what that means is, I know I explain this every time, but just in case you're new to the crossword or the series, that means you append it to both the clue and the answer, and it makes the definition correspond even more tightly. So stick out will pair out with whatever we put in here, which I think is jut. So stick could mean jut, but that's a little odd. Stick out does mean jut out. All right. African American or Asian American, e.g., for short. I'm not sure what that is alluding to, really. They both have all A's in them? I mean, could there be a misdirection and it's something to do with A's? Distribute cash at the end of a shift in restaurant lingo. Oh, that's when you tip out. You distribute the cash tips. And here 4.0 is an excellent one. That's GPA. Grade point average, 4 being the number for an A. So let's finally look at this. Okay, it is the revealer. So this says some Xmas card attire, some Christmas card attire, but that Xmas may mean that there's an abbreviation in the answer, or a hint to 18, 23, 37, and 48 across. So here's our revealer. In other words, the explanatory clue that ties the whole theme together. And I can see that there's J's here at the end, so that looks right. Maybe PJs. So this will be some Christmas card attire or a hint to these something PJ, stocking PJ, some Christmas card attire. So I assume PJs is pajamas. What is this getting at? I actually don't know what Christmas card attire that ends in PJs are, but we did get this cross sorted out. African American or Asian American, e.g. for short, POC, person of color. Sorry, my throat is really... Sorry, I had to just edit that out because I struck my mic and made a loud sound. Anyway, I was diagnosed recently with this acid reflux thing, and I've been taking medication, but my voice is just incredibly hoarse. I'm going to take another drink. Be right back. Okay, sorry about that again. Let's keep looking around. Let's jump up here. Teen's bedroom stereotypically could be a sty, as in a pigsty. Poker-faced could be stony, betraying no emotion, stone-faced. And checks out could be inspects. We could inspect the crossword grid. Check it out. And here we have a farm measure. Could be acreage. How many acres comprise the farm? Here we have, oh, I see, 8 or 9 but not 10 is a digit. They're all numbers, but 8 or 9 are digits, whereas 10 is made up of 2 digits. When doubled enthusiastic could be rah, very enthusiastic. So what is this? Some Christmas card. I'm sure this is very clear to many of you. what am I missing? Some Christmas card attire. Oh, matching. Oh, I see. Matching. Yes. Yeah. Among a certain, I guess, a sort of, I don't know, socioeconomic group, I guess. It's sort of a popular thing to take a Christmas card photograph in matching pajamas. Um, that is not something I've ever done, but I know that it happens. But I don't think about it enough for it to have popped into my head when I saw this answer. Anyway, matching PJs. There we go. And indeed, these answers all match with their PJs. They all have matching PJs. So there we go. That's pretty clever. Okay, what a funny, what a funny thing to build a theme around the concept of matching PJs. All right. Radios. It's funny that the revealer ended up being the one that was really tricky to get. I guess that happens sometimes. Well, for me anyway. I mean, as I always say, every crossword can strike every solver in a different way. A radio switch could be AM/FM, the two frequency bands or whatever you'd call them in traditional radio tuning. And worry could be to fret, and a snafu is a mess. Real snafu, real mess. That comes from American military slang. Situation normal, all fouled up, or something stronger than foul. And then let's check the crosses. We have safekeeping is care, and Google Maps might provide several of them, routes abbreviated. And there's the Tuesday puzzle. Yes, a nice Tuesday solve. I think that was similar to Monday. Actually, similar to Monday in a number of respects, in that I think it was a fairly smooth solve, all things said. I don't think there were any particularly devious crosses necessarily. And again, really completed the whole theme before getting to the revealer. And actually, I think it was after just two of them, because J is such an unusual letter. It's just not a very common letter in the crossword because it's not all that common in English in general. And it's especially not common midway through a word. And indeed, in this puzzle, it was always the first letter of a word. And so when it was the first letter of two words, it seemed like this must connect. And it did. And it connected through matching PJs. I like how ridiculous that is as a revealer. I really like the clue, aircraft that's 1% full being a private jet. That's very clever, I think. Yeah, I think a good, solid Tuesday crossword. I enjoyed it. Let me know if you did as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe. You'll see each video in the series, as they go up each morning, according to your selected level of notification. And I would appreciate it. I think the more people who subscribe, the more likely YouTube is to recommend this series to others. And someone actually commented on the video, and I don't really know. There's probably nothing that I can do about this. It's all the whims of the algorithm. But Maddie McLaughlin said, noticed I couldn't get many of your vids recommended when I searched, and so let's help Maddie out, get these videos recommended by subscribing to the channel. And tell a friend. If more people watch the videos, then presumably the more the YouTube robot will choose to recommend it according to its enigmatic and unknowable brain. And if you particularly enjoy this series and you'd like to help contribute to its sustainability, consider heading over to the Patreon page at patreon.com/dailysolve, where you can make a recurring monthly donation, a small amount, a couple of pounds a month, or the equivalent in your local currency. And for that, you get all of those bonus solves. You get the additional access to the Discord chat server. And depending on the level at which you contribute, if you contribute at the benefactor tier, you also get an exclusive mug. I'm still waiting on mine, but I think it will be here very soon. And I'm actually curious because, like I said, I think another 10 people were sent their mugs this week. So do let me know if you get yours. Maybe send me a photo, or drop it in the Discord. Drop a photo in the Discord chat server. That would be an easy place to put it, actually, because I'm very curious. I'd like to see more of them out in the wild, and I'm looking forward to getting mine. Anyway, at that same benefactor level that gets you the mug, you also get recognition at the end of these videos in for my thanks for making this series something that can be part of my daily work. And today, I would like to very much sincerely thank Joseph Schwelbach, as well as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Hood Monster. Your contributions are generous and appreciated. And thanks to everybody else who backs the Patreon campaign. I really appreciate every single person who does that. It means a lot to me. And thanks to you for watching this video. That's probably the other thing that helps the YouTube robot pass this thing along, is when people watch the video, watch all the video. It means that it's good, engaging content, and what else is there in the world? So I'll be back tomorrow for the Wednesday puzzle, midweek, mid-difficulty, I suppose, and I hope you join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Tuesday. Take care.